Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to this session of Coach's Corner. Wow, this is going to be a part two of the last one we did last Sunday, which is rules of being human, right? So I'm excited to dive in, but let's introduce ourselves. So for those that haven't seen us, and for those that have as well, you get to hear it again. No, for
Nothing
those that
like
have.
repetition, repetition, repetition.
Exactly. What Lou is referring to, repetition is the key to learning. So, my name is Jamel Matias. I'm a certified Bob Proctor coach. My brand is Believe in the Unseen. It's all about believing in yourself, believing in your dream and goal, that it's ready there for you. And my purpose is to reveal the potential that's already there and guide you to your truest desires. And I'm in the Maryland area, DMV, and I'll pass it to my amazing colleague, Paul.
Oh, thank you, Jamel, and good morning and good afternoon if you're out in Sweden with Alicia. My name's Paul Wooters. I'm in Burlington, Ontario, and I'm also a mindset success coach and Proctor Gallagher consultant. My brand would be to live to your greatest possibilities, and I help people, individuals who have a growth mindset to achieve their most elusive personal and professional goals, and to really help them uh, transform their lives to the lives that they really want to live and create and deserve. And I'm going to pass it over to Lou.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited about today's conversation. So, my name is Lou Perica. I am a success mindset coach. I coach growth minded women how to break through their limiting beliefs and align and tap into their true potential and create a life of success and fulfillment on their terms. Alicia.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Alicia Espinosa here from Sweden. I am also a certified Bob Proctor facilitator, and I also a mindset and values coach. And my purpose is to help people to create a life from the inside that feels good on the inside. And I was thinking, what is that? And it's to help you to increase the awareness you have about yourself so that you can create a life that feels good on the inside and are in on aligned with your values. That's it, me.
Awesome. Yay. This is great. Wow. What are rules of being human? What does that really mean? If you missed last Sunday, make sure you watch that because we talk in depth about some very powerful material about lessons. And there's just so much more than lessons. It's kind of a roadmap of life. And I love Coach's Corner because we have an overwhelming amount of experience here and perspectives as well. So you'll get to hear each of our different ways of sharing this knowledge. And remember, the bottom line is for us to help you. You know, going through life without mentorship, trust me, is different and very challenging. And, you know, always feel free to drop a comment or a question in the chat or wherever platform you're viewing this because we love to hear from you. We love to speak with you. We love to help you. You know, you're not by yourself. You're not. And that's why we're here together, right? So let's, do you want me to share my screen so we can kind of just dive right into the next thing where we
Sure.
left off?
Yeah.
Great. So let's do that. And you know what? Intuition just told me something. Does anybody want to share a good joke for the fans right now?
Good
Anybody have
joke.
a good
Oh my
Go.
gosh, if I do that, you will sleep.
well, maybe a short joke.
I don't have,
Anybody have a joke? Okay.
I'm not much of a joke teller.
I think Paul has on.
A little
Trying to
story.
come up with an appropriate, friendly family.
All right,
You
intuition.
really put us on the spot there, Jamel.
Oh, I'm sorry. But I'm sure the fans' vibration shifted by our responses, right? So, all right. So here is a very powerful article on rules for being human, right? And so important to kind of, understand. We talked initially about you will receive a body. We talked a lot about your body, right? We talked about you'll learn lessons, right? You're enrolled in a full-time informal school called life. We talked about that, right? There are no mistakes, only lessons. Growth is a process of trial and error experimentation. I believe we talked about that as well, right?
Mhm.
So then this is where we're continuing here. A lesson is repeated until learned, right? We did kind of touch on that, but and all this is related, right? So a lesson will be presented to you in various forms until you have learned it. When you have learned it, you can then go on to the next lesson. Is that a good starting point for everyone?
Yeah.
I thought we
Yes.
did number 4. I thought we were starting on number 5.
Oh, let's keep
No.
moving if you want.
Only
Yeah.
because we talk so much, I don't want
Yeah, no worries. So let's go on to number. I mean, it's all connected to the
Sure,
others.
yeah, it
So
is.
we did kind of hammer home for an hour with these. So learning lessons does not end. There is no part of life that does not contain lessons. If you are alive, there are lessons to be learned.
Hmm.
So who would like to kind of open it up with that one?
I can start off, Jamel, and thanks very much. So yeah, learning never ends, and there's a thing. If you go back to the lessons before, the previous lesson was, a lesson is repeated until learned. Life, we can view that as life as being an incredible teacher, and it doesn't allow us to move forward until we truly understand the lesson. And sometimes, we find ourselves facing the same obstacles, and that can be in a relationship, that can be in business or in personal growth. And it's not bad luck. So sometimes you think, oh man, this is just bad luck. Like, why is this happening? But it's a sign that something within us needs to change. And so instead of saying, okay, why does this keep happening to me? Maybe we need to say, okay, what is this trying to teach me? What is this trying to teach me? Because a pattern, that's what's great about this material, is that it helps with our awareness. And, we can look at ourselves and look for patterns because patterns reveal what we need to work on, right? The moment that we truly internalize the lesson, then the situation either resolves itself or shows up or stops showing up, in that same way. And it's really important to ask ourselves really important, powerful reflective questions. Like what is this experience revealing about my own mindset? The struggle that we're facing is really an opportunity for us to grow rather than view it as a setback. There's an opportunity for some growth there. And, if we are able to tap into and identify our recurring thoughts or our recurring behaviors or emotional triggers, then we become more aware of the lesson behind that struggle. And that really empowers us to break from the limiting cycles that we have. So so this rule 5, learning never ends. I think there's a common belief that once we reach a certain level of success, and hey, we could just coast along. But we have to understand that life doesn't work that way. We know that, like, every new level brings a new challenge, brings new responsibilities. There's new opportunities for growth with that. So growth itself isn't a destination, right? It's a continuous journey. And so we really, really need to embrace this lifelong learning and stay curious, right? Kids are really curious. I mean, I know Jamel has a very young daughter. I'm sure she's very curious about things. And we can remember, if we've had young kids, they go through a stage of why, that why stage, right? But as we grow and as we get older and more mature, then we can ask better questions, right? And that's where mentors come in, because we can seek mentors. Because, you know, if you look at the most successful people in the world, they aren't the ones that know it all, but they're the ones who remain students, you know, for life. You know, students on life, but students also for life on life. And I'm going to pass this on to Lou. Do you want to carry on?
Yeah. Yes. So thank you for that, Paul. Great insights in there. I was mentioning to the group before we got on that Paul and I had a discussion that we had probably read this article a few times and we understood the power behind it, but we never really delved into each paragraph, you know, took it apart and really, really studied it. And this repetition is so powerful, and having a community, because most of us will read books, most of us will watch a podcast or some sort of a webinar or seminar, but we take a general idea from it, but we never really pick it apart. And that's why I really loved this article, because we're doing a part 2 on this. We haven't done a part 2 in the previous podcast. But what I wanted to share was, what the learning lessons do not end. We've all been studying this material for quite some time, and what I've come to realize is every day there's going to be some sort of opportunity for me to ask myself, what does this mean? Whether it's something that's directly towards me or indirectly, sometimes it's dealing with other people. And I have to stop. Sometimes my initial reaction is to react. And I've learned through study is to take a deep breath, understand that either I'm going through some sort of growth or the other people are going through some sort of learning curve here, and not to get so emotionally connected to it. So that for me, I start to realize that the learning is never going to end, but because I've done the internal work, I look at it completely differently. I'm not a reactor anymore. At least I'm more aware if that reaction, that initial reaction comes up. I'm aware how to take a deep breath, calm it down, and understand this is going to pass. This is just a learning lesson. This is an opportunity for growth. But if I didn't study, and if I didn't have these amazing other coaches alongside with me, to sometimes I do have a challenge, and I reach out to someone and say, geez, this is what's happening, can you give me your perspective on that? But it's because I've done the internal work that I know I can reach out to someone else if I feel a little stuck. um, but now I look at life and I can just really just smile and say, okay, I get it. I get it. This is something for me to learn. Sit back, reflect, and move on. Make a decision, make a choice, and just move on. So that's what I loved learning, that the lessons never end. When they end, that means I've checked out, right? So I know I'm still learning. That means I'm still here.
Alicia, yeah.
Yeah, I was listening when Paul talked about the lesson is repeating until learning. And it made me think about, I met a person 2 days ago. I was running, and I I met this person, and we were talking, and he say, "Yeah, my health is not so good." Okay, so what happened? And he say, "Oh, but I have some pain in my back." And then we were talking, and I asked him, "What are you doing for helping your back take?" And he say, "Oh no, but I cannot do anything."
Mhm.
I say, "Yeah, but you if you are continue to do this the way you're doing all the time, you will get the same results. So until you learn that like lesson that you cannot treat your body as a garbage, because you will get the same results." And I also get me think about what they say, Einstein say, that insanity is the what is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing all the time and waiting to get another results. So the lessons will come all the time until you do something different, that you learn that, okay, I cannot continue with this, I need to do something new. So I was talking to him about that, and then I remember this. Yeah, until if you continue to do the same thing, the lesson will be there until you learn that. And also about this, the lesson does not um, end. Is that this is like we discussed it last time with the magnet, that is a positive or negative pole, and so is life. And it will always come positive things and negative things. And it is that when we have an expectation that is always will be positive, I mean, then it gets us a frustration. So when you understand that lessons will never end, yeah, if you sit down in a dark room and don't go out, maybe you will be there, and even then you will have some lessons from that. So and also we need also to be aware what is that, what are making me take decisions that my results are not good, that the lessons will come all the time, you know. So I normally we talk about the I like the different those guys, the heroes. And we need to be to we are also heroes sort of life. But for example, if we take Superman, is the kryptonite that give him that make him powerless. So we need to discuss, to think, what is my kryptonite that make me powerless, that I continue to do the same things, and the lessons will repeat until it will be learned. That was what it come to me at the
No,
moment about that.
I I love it. I love it. When you said the kryptonite, it reminds me that's the paradigm, for most people,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
That is holding people back from their full potential and whatever they want to achieve. I forgot to share this at the very top of the call here, but let me share my screen and just kind of help refresh for those that may not have seen last Sunday what we're referring to here. This is Rules for Being Human, and the following is written by an unknown author, right? However, it contains some timeless jewels of information that are worth passing on. Entitled rules for being human. So you know what this really is, what we're talking about. When learning lessons does not end, right? All we're talking about perception as well, right? One of our mental faculties, our higher mental faculties. Like when you look at your life, and it's very reflective, because if you're not honest with yourself, you won't see it, the lesson. You have to really be honest with yourself, but not judgmental, right? Because we beat ourselves up sometimes. And I say never go that route, because that's never productive, right? So being honest with yourself and reflective, what is this lesson? Why does this keep happening to me? How come I'm not achieving this thing? These are key questions you can ask yourself. And you can't lie to yourself, right? So if you didn't take certain actions, or if inaction as well, that will dictate the result. So perception, I think I shared this last Sunday. It's good to see lessons as blessings. Because Bob always said, we're either creating or we disintegrate, right? Energy, you either create or you disintegrate. So learning a lesson, you're creating, right? And these lessons or slash blessings are tools or opportunities for you to become a higher version of yourself. Now we can go down, a lot of us share different lessons. There's dating. That's a big one, right? I'm sure all of us here had some dating experience, before we were married or whatever, right? So maybe we had a habit of dating certain type of people that we weren't compatible with, maybe eating foods that we loved but knew wasn't adding any value to our bodies, right? So these are, and even professionally, professional, all of it outside is a reflection of the inside. So if you're not learning these lessons, they will keep repeating, and they will stay there until you be really open and honest with yourself to learn the lesson, shift the habit, whatever that is, and also your mindset. Because remember, it's 95% mindset, 5% strategy. So if you're shifting the way you see these lessons, you're able to progress past. You're able to resolve the lesson. You learn it, and you're moving on to the next lesson, because it never ends, right? So just a few things that came to mind, when we were talking about this. It's very it's perception, how you see things, and also reflective for yourself, and see it as a good thing. Because if you're not having lessons, like Alicia said, you're in a dark room, you're just disintegrating, just sitting there turning the dust, and nobody wants to live a life like that. And then there's some people that run away from the lessons. This is delusion.
Yeah, it's delusion.
Yeah. we can go down that route.
I came with one idea that came to me when you say that you need to know what is stopping you. Yeah, I believe that you need to, or you can think about what is your kryptonite. Yeah, but you don't need to go deep and say, oh, from where it comes. So, for example, if I know that many years ago, when I wanted to transition from the corporate job to my coaching, I have a huge kryptonite, and it was the money paradigm. But I didn't want to know from where that comes, because I could, you can dig a lot. Oh, maybe it's because of this. And then you dig that, and then, oh, no. Or maybe it's because of that. So, you start to dig everywhere, and you never take the action. So we need to, like, okay, I know that is something about this stopping me, but I don't need to go deep and know from where. My focus is what do I want to do to go forward. Otherwise, you will dig, and never find the reasons why something is stopping you or so. So that is what it came to me now when Jamel was talking.
Yeah, thanks,
So,
thanks, Alicia. I was just going to add to that that really turned a little light bulb on for me, and something that we can do. Right? Yeah, don't beat yourself up about it, but um, utilize reflection practices. And this is where things like simple things like journaling come in. Just like writing down your thoughts, just writing down, just let it pour out and get it onto the paper. Just get it out of your head, and or self-assessments, and then you can recognize really how far you've actually come, and then you can also help you determine what's next. And when you do get to that next level, it doesn't stop, right? Lessons don't end, and your growth shouldn't end. So when you break through and you have that breakthrough, then you'll have new opportunities, and and new challenges will come up. And so when you achieve that goal, you work to stretch to that next level. And in the lessons before, when we were going through you're thinking into results, we talked about the terror barrier. You break through a fear, but then you're faced with something else, faced with another obstacle, faced with another fear or another challenge. But now you're operating from experience, and you know how you've dealt with that before. So when you've achieved that goal, try and stretch yourself to that next level, and rather than become complacent. Because I know some people, they get to a goal and that's it, and then they just feel, okay, I can just kind of cruise from here, and they become very complacent. So you really develop that love for learning, and just as Alicia said, it's not about beating yourself up, but just have some self-reflection, assess where you are. And I think the practice of journaling is so good. It just gets stuff out on the paper and just gets it out of you.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great. Let me share my screen for the next one. That's really good, Paul. Let's share this here. So here's the next rule here, right? There is no better place than here. And this is kind of what Paul's referring to, right? When you're there has become here, you will simply obtain another there that will again look better than here. Wow. It's very poetic, right? I love it. I'll just give a 2 cents here. So there's no better place than here, right now, where you are. You have to be honest with yourself of where you are right now in your life, right? And get clarity on what in the world is there. What is there for you? This is why mentorship is so important, because we don't look at our lives in these ways, when you're just kind of trying to make things happen, right? So it says there's no better place than here, which is now, where you are currently. Now, when you're there has become here. Basically, when you achieve whatever it is and you learn the lesson, you will simply obtain another there that you will again look for better than here. So you're always striving for this higher version of yourself. And that's my 2 cents. I'll stop there, and we'll talk here. Anybody want to share?
I'll chime in. So, the only moment that really exists is now. Like, really think about that. Many of us live many times in the past, and many of us, when we do have a goal, live in the future. But our power is in the now. You can only take action now. You can't take it yesterday, and you can't take it tomorrow. So life happens right now. So that's why sometimes we're so focused on our goal, of course, because our goal guides us and directs us. It helps us reflect on our life and what needs to be changes, what new choices, what new decisions, new ideas, new actions that we need to take. But they can only be taken in the now. So that's what here means, like now. There is in the future, right? And we always are striving for something, And many times we're going through our day so quickly, chasing something in the future, that all the beautiful moments of today slip right past us. We didn't even acknowledge what a beautiful day it was. Yesterday I went for a run yesterday, and I was actually thinking about this call, and I was looking forward to it. And as I was what I call running, my feet don't get as high off the ground as they used to. But I was jogging along, and there was this mother and her son. He's a little boy, he was maybe about 3 years old. And from behind, he reminded me very much of my son. And he was running, right? And he had, like a 3-year-old runs, right? They get their whole body, everything's going, the arms, the legs, the shoulders, the back. So in the past, I would have just went, oh, that's really cute, and moved on. But I stopped because I was so present. And I said to him, and I mentioned to the woman, I said, I want to thank you because you just took me back to when my son was around 3 years old, and your little boy looks just like my son from behind. So I had this beautiful flashback. And you know what she said to me? She said, now this conversation would not have happened if I continue to stay in the future of thinking of this podcast, right? I was being present. She said, well, you actually inspired him. He saw you running, and he said, Mama, I want to run like her. And that little moment was such a gift to me that when I continued, I said, well, keep running. And I continued my run, and that made me feel so wonderful because I stopped, I acknowledged the present moment, and I feel that that wonderful feeling I had was the gift. It was a gift saying you stopped, you acknowledged the present moment, and now you feel wonderful. I just wanted to share that because I was in the there, in my mind, in the there, but I stopped to be present in the here. And
Mm.
because of that, I received the blessing of having this quick little conversation with the mother. And then she said, well, you inspired him. I wouldn't have known that, right? Here I am, 63. He's probably 3. I didn't think I would inspire a 3-year-old boy. But yet, I got that gift, that acknowledgement, and I was so grateful for that. So the rest of my run went beautifully, but that's being in the present moment.
Mm.
That is beautiful. A beautiful story, Lou. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
It is. It really is. And I'm so glad you mentioned that because you see, there's so different ways you can look at what that little sentence says, right? The here and there. And I totally agree. I forgot to mention that because if you're not here, you won't see the lesson,
Mhm.
right? If you're not present. And that's why they say the present is a present. It's the gift. So if you're not present in that moment, it's hard for you to even acknowledge where you are and have the clarity that you received in that moment.
Mm.
And it's funny, now it was there, right? But now you're bringing that there here.
Here.
And it's very, very important for people to kind of be aware. That's awareness, what you just shared. It's awareness of self and spirit, you know, and that's what mentorship can help you with. Broaden your awareness, so powerful. Anybody want to tag on there with what Lou shared?
Yeah, I was thinking about this. There is no place that better than here. And I also think I was talking with my partner, also with my daughter. I said, but you are breathing here and now, not you cannot think that tomorrow and that you are breathing here and now. And also sometimes we are so afraid of testing things or go after our dreams because we are too much in the past. and also the fear of the future. What happen if I don't do that? I want to say that you are there that you are, and the only thing that you need to take action with the knowledge you have, with the skills you have, the awareness you have, and the resources you have, and then take action. And here come, I love showing my frames, because so if you are here now and you are taking action, then you will come to the next place. Your frame will be, and now is this your new frame. You are expanding your comfort zone, and then if you continue, yeah, then you will also continue to, to even more. So it's like when we are testing, when we are doing things, it's like our comfort zone is expanding, and then what it was here now, it will be there. So all the time, so I normally don't say, oh, don't go, or you need to go out of your comfort zone. It's so much like, fear when you say that, because when you go out of your comfort zone, it's like something unknown in the other side. But if you expand your comfort zone, it's more, more, it's the same thing, but it's more calm for the brain, like you will not the terror barrier or so, but expand your comfort zone. Yeah, is what I wanted to say about that.
Yeah.
Wow, there is so much potential conversation in this question. There's no better than here. And what Lou said and what Alicia has just said, and what Jamel had said, there's so many things I can add on to that. And in the last couple of weeks, I've given a couple of talks, and they've centered around being in the present, being in the now. And as Eckhart Tolle said, who's that spiritual teacher, he said, the only thing that is real about this journey in life is the step we're taking at this moment. That's all there ever is. That's all there ever is. The step that we're taking this moment, and the step that we're taking at this moment determines our next step. What we do today is going to affect the outcome of tomorrow. We're always looking, in the future, like once I achieve, X, as Jamel had said, then I'll be happy. But when you reach that goal, then there'll be another one, and you're always chasing something. And as Bob said, he said, a goal isn't to get, a goal is about the person that you become on the way to achieving your goal. And so you have to really appreciate where you are right now while you're working for more. Yes, you're working for more, you're looking for a goal. And as Bob said, be satisfied or be thankful or grateful for what you have, but develop a healthy dissatisfaction, right? And that's why we have that's what brought mankind out of the cave and into the condominium, as it were. And that's why technology is always improving, right? I mean, our cell phones are great, but 30 years ago, I mean, boy, were they ever different. And 30 years from now, we probably won't be using cell phones. There'll be some other technology. So the fulfillment isn't about achieving the goal. It's about growing into the person who can achieve them. And so learn to enjoy the process, not just the outcome. And there was something that Alicia said that struck something for me. And you look at children, right? They are just completely engaged in the here and now, right? They're not thinking about the embarrassments of yesterday or the mistakes of yesterday. And they don't have the worries of like, or some perceived worries of what might happen next week. They're right now. They're right, so totally present in the here and now. And they just, you can give them, a boxes or, crayons and things, and they're going to just construct something. They're just going to and they're just involved right now. And they're just, just people just get too wrapped up in, that future or the past, and they're not looking. And Bob always used that that hourglass or that sand timer. The only time there is the time that sand that's passing through that small neck, right? That's the only time there is. Yeah, that's the only time there is right now. And so appreciate the process, appreciate where you are, and that's going to set you up for the future.
Wow. Well said, Paul. Well said. This conversation, and we're just on this small part, right? This small part of here and there and now. Just kind of you spoke a few things that came to mind. That's interesting because when you're thinking about the past, maybe some negative things of the past, you're bringing it to your present, and if you're worried about the future, you're bringing that to the present as well. So where is your mind? So if you're thinking about the past, you're thinking about the future, you have a divided mind. That's known in meditation practices as well. And what also comes to mind right now is Neville Goddard. He always talks about bringing the wish fulfilled to the present. So we can really go deep in this conversation because and Bob mentions it as well, as living from the end. So this is you becoming whatever you're, set out to achieve, whatever that goal is. You're becoming that version of that person. So this is when you're being. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this. We're not here to confuse you, of course, but I would say having a divided mind, you lose a lot of your power when you're not present. And also with Neville Goddard's teachings, that's a little advanced, but it's a quicker way of becoming or achieving what you want, because now you're tapping into your imagination. And then you're basically connecting with spirit, and you're becoming. Your body would naturally express whatever you're feeling. So that's why it's important to get very clear on what there is for you. And all of us here want to help you with whatever there is and help you see where here is as well. Because if you don't know where you are, you don't know where you're going, right? So this is very, very powerful conversation here. And I love talking about it. So let's move on to the next one. Is that okay? You want to move on to the next one?
The next one's a doozy. The next one,
okay. Yeah, they're all doozies, right?
Yeah.
All right, here's the next one. Others are merely mirrors of you. You cannot love or hate something about another person unless it reflects to you something you love or hate about yourself. Wow.
Ouch.
We'll do a whole episode on that. Alicia wants to go first, I can tell.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is, I was specialist I am a recovery criticizing person. I was like, say 20 years ago, I was like, but this person and this person. And when I started to work with my personal development, and I saw this many years ago, I started to like, oh my gosh, this is like, coming to and I started to be curious about myself when I saw somebody else doing something that I wasn't. I was criticized. I was not criticizing the person, but I was And then I said, oh my gosh, this is something that I do. And so it was, was a reality that I didn't want to go in. And I was talking to a client some weeks ago because he told me that, oh, I talked to a person and that person was so manipulative, you know. And then I asked him, and I called this love tough question. I said, I will give you a love tough question. I say, okay, so when are you manipulative? And he was like very quiet and no, I never. Oh, okay, I just was asking. And then the week after he came to me, I said, you know what? I I am aware that I am also manipulative, you know, and I did this. And then I remember your love tough question. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am doing the same thing. So we use the same behavior that other people do, but we don't are aware of that. And for me it's very good because I decided that okay, I'm not going to criticize somebody, and I'm going to ask myself why am I feeling so bad about that person? Why that behavior? I don't like that behavior, because then it tells me more about myself than the person I am criticizing in my head. It's easy. No, it's not easy because our paradigms is always jumping in, and yeah, but it you need to have some courage to go that way.
Mm. This rule of this rule because as I had mentioned in previous calls, I was a good victim. Didn't think I was a victim. And if you had told me I was a victim, I probably would have gotten very angry at that time, right? And very defensive. And when I started again my personal growth journey, and when I came across this information that others are just a mirror of me, of how I see myself, my internal stuff. Because when you think about it, we can all look at everyone around us and say, oh, I like that about them. That annoys me about them. They have this quality. This person does this, that. So we can see everybody else's stuff, but we cannot see our own. Very interesting. So, how do we know who we are? How do we know how we're showing up in life? Because we're not able to see ourselves unless we videotaped ourselves every single day, recorded and videoed. That's the only way we could see ourselves. So, how do we know? And then when I learned, well, it's from the company you keep. It's with people that annoy you, people that you admire. These are all qualities or characteristics or things that are within me that I am attracting. But I didn't know that. I just thought other people were annoying or they bothered me or they were wrong. And then I thought other people, I put them up on a pedestal, thinking, oh, they're this, they're wonderful, they can do this, they can do that. But all of those things are within me because if they were not within me, I wouldn't be able to see them in other people. And I know this gets like, what? But in other words, so if you think about a baby does not know what resentment is. A baby does not doesn't have the ability to hold grudges. So how does that baby go from not knowing what that is and not being able to hold a grudge into a person who does? Because it was learned. And through time, that baby learned to be resentful of whatever. It learned to hold a grudge about something towards somebody. And that was like planted within the baby's subconscious mind. So as the baby grew and grew into an adult, every time that child saw something in it, like triggered that belief and that learned reaction in the subconscious mind. Although, but we don't get it. We don't think, we think it's everybody else. So this is why it's so important to really, what triggers me and why? Why
Mhm.
is it that such and such, so and so triggers me? Or when I see this, why does it trigger me so much? And what I've learned through this process is asking myself, well, what's it have to do with you, Lou? And then, not that, just like Alicia said, I don't go digging for my paradigms and where did it come from. I just know it's there. That's all. That's all I know it's there. And let me just look at it and how can I shift that? How can I shift that paradigm? Because I'm the one who's suffering. Right? If I'm watching or listening to somebody and I don't like what they're saying and I get all worked up and all, I'm the one who's suffering, not the other person. They don't even, right? It's me. And one of my favorite quotes, I say this all the time, is suffering is necessary until you realize it's not necessary because it's only happening in our own head.
Mhm.
Right? It's only so again, when people annoy you or they aggravate you or they inspire, they're triggering something within you that is meant for us to see, meant for us to see the maybe not so terrific characteristics within ourselves that maybe we could improve, or see the beauty in ourselves that maybe we don't consider very often.
Mhm.
So when you're triggered by someone, whether it's not so terrific or someone that inspires you, look within yourself and say, why is that? I wonder why. What does that mean about me? These are just simple but very deep questions, and they're life changing.
Wow, you guys really covered a lot of great points there. My goodness, yeah, Alicia and Lou, fantastic. I'm just going to underscore a few things here and going to repeat a little bit what you guys said. But yeah, this rule, it's a really creates a powerful mindset shift. This can really create a huge shift in our lives, right? That this way that we perceive others, both positively and negatively, as Lou just said, that is that's a direct reflection of something that's going on within us, right? And as Lou said again, it applies to both admiration and frustration, or even judgment, and so I'll look at it on a when we're looking at someone in a positive point or perspective, whether that's a leader or, an athlete or a business person, it's often because we are recognizing qualities within ourselves that are waiting to be developed. And so too often, we hear people say, I wish I could be like them. I could wish I could be like that person. But instead, ask ourselves another questions. Start saying this instead. How can I bring this out in myself? Say, I really admire that, rather than just saying, I wish I could be like that. Okay, I admire that. That means there's something within me that's like that. So how can I bring that out in myself? And similarly, on the flip side, if there's a person that's bothering, if there's a person that's bothering us, what is it about that person that bothers us or bothers me the most? And so again, ask, reframe the question. Maybe say, what is this situation teaching me? What is this situation teaching me? Rather than it's just bother me, man, I hate it. It irritates me when that person does this. What is stop and just reflect? What is it teaching? What is it teaching me? What is it teaching me?
Yeah. Wow. Looks like we'll have to do a part 3 of this. You know, no, that last, well, that wasn't the last question, but this one is so powerful, and we're all sharing so much value. This one is very, very, and that word keeps popping in my head, reflection, right? And perception as well. It's how you perceive things. And when you're looking at another person, judging them, that's so easy, right? And Lou shared that, it's a learned behavior. You learn how to judge another person, and this is for you to look at yourself, whether you're judging someone by their physical appearance, skin color, age, gender, whatever, right? So notice what happens when you judge something or someone. You start feeling kind of bad about it, and that energy, negative energy, you're attracting things you don't want, and you're perpetuating a cycle, but you're not even seeing that what you're looking at in a judgmental way is you're seeing yourself. And studying this material is very, very powerful, because I realize when you judge someone else, you're hurting yourself, because it's so important to understand that everywhere you look in another person or see, good or bad, is a reflection of you. So when I read that paragraph, you should always see the good in every person. And that is a huge trait for leaders. See the good in every person you meet. Even, a lot of my, what do you call it? Friends and associates, they know that we had some neighbors that I wasn't very fond of. Kids would throw their trash over the fence. The trash would always blow in my nice green yard. They used to pull in the driveway, our driveway, to turn around because they had too many cars in their own driveway. And here I am, constantly upset, and they're probably oblivious to how I feel, right? And guess who's feeling bad about it? Me, right? So what is that saying? It's like throwing dust in a strong wind, and the dust is flying back in your own face. So when you're judging someone, just stop, because it doesn't serve you in your future. That's even in the confidence formula. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity. Right? So once you develop that love, you see the good in everyone. There's greatness in Alicia. There's greatness in Lou. There's greatness in Paul. There's greatness in myself. Say that's an affirmation, for free, that you can use that. But the point is, see the good in everything. And as you do that, that energy has to come to you and through you first to see the good in another person. Imagine if you're walking down the street, or every day you're seeing the good in every moment, in every person, in every circumstance. That is powerful. You're shifting everything. And that's what I get out of that small part is focus on the good and let go of the negativity, because the negativity will never give you where you want to go, take you where you want to go, or give you what you want. Very, very powerful.
I want to add something there.
Yes.
And it's that, remember, when you judge somebody, you are like pointing out them, but three other fingers are pointing on you.
Right.
So it's like when you are like judging somebody, and the negativity I normally say is like, drinking poison and waiting for somebody else die.
Yeah.
It will not happen.
I also wanted to chime in. So Jamel, when you were saying about judgment, when we judge others, it really is we judge ourselves, right? Because you can't just stop judging other people, because when you look in the mirror, for an example, you might be picking apart whatever, your hair, your smile, your weight, your body, whatever. And everything, to look for the good in other people, you first must look for the good in yourself. The reason why we don't feel, we get angry, is because we're out of alignment, because the true divine essence within us is pure love. So when we see the good in someone else, when we admire, because it resonates with the spirit within us. When we see the not so terrific in other people, that's saying we're out of alignment with spirit. That's why it just simply doesn't feel good. Those emotions that we feel are a guidance system telling us we're off course. We're off course. So this is why really tapping in and understanding what the emotions are and why they are so important. Because most of us, when we feel angry, we're either going to suppress it or we're going to, right? Because we've heard, oh, you have to release it and not suppress it. But I also had read that there is a reason why you explode. You suppress it, you suppress it, you suppress it, but the body is like a pressure cooker. It must release that steam. That's why we have those moments where we go, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's helping us. It's just releasing that built up pressure. But it doesn't mean we've so-called fixed the issue of why it's happening. So this is why personal development, personal growth is key to, know thyself. Because when you understand you, why you do the things you do, how you operate, you understand everyone, because we're all the same. And it really does become so obvious, and it's simple, not easy to do. But when I have discussions with friends or family or clients, we start to say now, oh my gosh, it really is so obvious. But if we don't know these things, life can feel very, very difficult. So this is why we bring this to you every week, to help enlighten you. And that's what the journey is about self-enlightenment, right? And I wanted to, I think the gentleman's name, he had a comment, so I wanted to acknowledge the comment and say thank you for being with us. Yeah, Himanshu, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but we're very, very grateful that you are here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you for being here,
thank
and thank you for all our viewers and everyone that comments or, reaches out to us. And, we love to hear from you and see you, and speak to you and help you, obviously. So there was one thing I forgot to mention there. And, you can shift what you're focusing on. When you're judging other people or you're seeing negative things in other people, you can shift it by looking for all the great things about them, or sending them love, sending the circumstance love, right? Because I was able to shift some things that were causing me to judge and causing me to be out of alignment and disharmony. So I was like, okay. And you know what? Every time I woke up every day, I would send love. And that's part of the gratitude, right? This is
you.
when those people that are maybe, a person or people or whatever that is causing you some type of tension, send them love, you know. Ask Spirit for guidance and send them love. But you can also say whatever affirmation daily until it starts to shift, and see the good in that situation or that person every time. And what happens, you're shifting your focus. Here comes that word, perception. You start seeing the good in them rather than the bad. And whatever, over time, it starts to shift. You even maybe be close to that person physically, and it's no longer what it used to be. That's why, you're the center of divine operation. You know,
Mm.
you're the center of divine operation. And you know, it's interesting. There was something else in there, but we'll say that for next time.
That's crazy. We're gonna have a part 3.
Yeah, we'll save that for next time. But this has been such a great conversation. Yes, thanks for joining, Bindu.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you know, I'm glad that it's eye-opening for you, and hopefully for many, you know, because it was eye-opening for us and still is. And I'm sure we're going to be learning about ourselves for the rest of our lives, you know. And it's very important to learn about yourself, because especially if you want to create a better future or better results in your life. Anybody want to share any last words here with our audience?
I'll have a last word, Jamel.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's
Mhm.
really, and it's something that you said, when we shift from reacting to reflecting, then we develop the emotional intelligence and the resilience and the deeper connections that we're really, we're really searching for.
Awesome. So let this be that starting point for you today.
I want also to say something,
Huh?
because remember that it's about to be aware of how we are judging other people, not to go with the hammer for ourselves, but just to the awareness, because it's when you are aware, then you can do something about that. Is yeah.
I love it. I love it. We ended on some props. I love it. I love it. So make sure you don't hit yourself with that hammer and contact us today. All
See
right.
the light. See the light.
That's right. See the light within
Light.
yourself. All right.
Yeah.
So we're here to help you. Make sure, you know, you take that action. Reach out to any one of us. You know, we're not here just to share our experiences, but we definitely want to help you, you know, with whatever it is that you're achieving or what direction you want in your life. You know, our call links are available in whatever platform you view this on. You see this on whatever social media, you know how to message us. Take that step, take the action, regardless. Just meet us. All right.
Life
Because,
changing.
right, what's going to happen, you're going to keep getting the same results year after year. And like we said earlier, the future is not promised. Right. So why wait? The time is now. All right. Blessings, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday, same time, same place. And we'll do a part 3
Oh
of
my
rules
gosh.
of being human. And we'll probably think of something else to talk about, I'm sure, because we're always eager to share this value. So
Yeah.
much love, everybody. See you
Thank
next
you
time.
so much, everyone. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.